Mate, that caught me off guard when I heard it last week.
The scream of that intro, honestly, man, and it screws with me every single week. Did the same thing last week.
That only occurred to me that it happened last week. Only when I heard it then. I completely forgot about it.
It's just the way you win straight away.
I didn't win. I just found it funny, man. I was just like,
But did you hear it last week when J-Dog was like, what?
man.
What was that? He actually reacted to it. It was madness.
mate.
How are you fellas?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you? How are you? How's it all been?
Yeah, it's been great, man. I've had a wonderful week. AJ?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Another quiet one, to be honest. Just
You're not really doing much these days, are you?
yeah, it's getting to that time where it's getting dark outside. You just pretty much just inside chilling most of the time anyway.
Do you hibernate between the months of October and December?
Yeah,
Well, no, December,
until we
Christmas.
start doing stuff in December, like when we all start like linking up for a little like whatever.
When we start drinking,
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
we link up every week now.
when the beers come out. Yeah, that's it. Well, we have this podcast looks like it's sponsored by Monster.
It's not.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Imagine if it was though.
You never know.
Well, the thing
it
is,
could come.
You could all retire.
yeah, you were just saying like obviously we used to come in here for the pub, obviously drinking most of the time, but we've just been on energy drinks. But I guess that's because it's the day that we record. We record midweek, so
Yeah, man. Keeps the juices flowing.
And we're old and we're that tired that we need Monster.
Monster
By-
keeps it
when it
rolling.
comes to Wednesday.
I'll
Especially
have a midweek drink. You know, it makes the weekend feel longer if you start drinking in the middle of the week. You know.
But it does fit because Monster sponsors UFC, doesn't it?
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
a massive can of Monster in the middle of the freaking cage.
Yeah.
It works.
Monster water bottles, even
Yeah.
though I've never ever seen those over here, but you know.
3 Monsters and then Stone Cold at the front.
And then maybe a Prime somewhere for WWE.
Yeah.
You never know.
The GOAT.
Let's not do that.
Oh yeah, Prime. That might be a bit easier. We got KSI over here.
That's true.
We're not having Prime on this. I'm calling a halt on that. I'm not just like,
Why is that, man?
You don't mess with the pools.
No, I don't mind the pools. Obviously, Logan Paul's a big part of my life right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I just despise the fact that they have made so much money off of an energy drink.
Bad.
I'm jealous of it. I'm jealous of it.
It's not really a
Well,
great
it's
one.
more
either.
of a hydration drink, so it's kind of like an alternative to Lucozade Sport. I'd see it
And
because
it's-
it's not fizzy. It's not like it provides you with electrolytes. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's good for you. Definitely, but I just also despise the fact that it's now all over WWE programming.
Slapped over
Every
the
single
middle of the
pay-per-view, it's like in the corner, like piles of it. And then in the middle of every pay-per-view, in the middle of the ring, there's just the, whatever you call that, the embossing of the canvas.
Yeah, we're gonna
canvas.
definitely have to talk about the endorsements between both products. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's intro.
This intro.
We've been talking about random stuff.
we're
so-
here.
Cage of Canvas episode, week 5, boys. Week 5.
Week 5, episode 5, week
5.
6 if we're getting technical about it, but you know.
Well, that was a test as a part of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, but no. Week
Don't-
5.
No need to rib me that much. We've
Yeah,
already
the missed
addressed
week.
it.
The missed week. Never again. But yeah, another good weekend of activity all round.
Yeah.
WWE, UFC. What should we kick off with this week? What should we start with?
There's a lot of WWE talk, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of WWE talk, to be honest.
Always is, to be fair.
UFC was a bit, but we'll talk about a few things.
I'll tell you what.
So it depends how you want to roll.
I'll tell you what. Can I just kick off with some massive news?
Yes,
Like some of the
go for it.
biggest news that's come out of WWE in a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you not see it this week? When I
Yeah.
mean massive, I mean freaking massive.
Well, it depends what you're talking about, because this is the thing. WWE always do this thing, like they play up these massive announcements, kind of like the
It was huge.
the Crown Jewel situation last week.
Hornswoggle has signed a WWE Legends deal.
I knew it was going to be some shit
Really?
like that.
He signed a Legends deal
Let's go, man.
for 5 years.
I'm pretty sure he's been kicking about on the indies for a few years as well.
He's been-
just here and there, and
He's also
doing
been
his bits.
kicked
Seen lots of
about.
footage.
He's been kicked about, literally.
Yeah,
Isn't he? Didn't I don't know if this is right or if I'm just literally dreaming about this, but didn't the Jackass boys play around with him and put him through a table in a pub? You know, like they do with Wee Man. I'm sure Hornswoggle had a stunt with them when they were involved that year when they were promoting the film. I'm sure they
Maybe.
did.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But I can try and pull it up if you
the thing
think
is,
you're right. You know,
it doesn't sound like it's out of the realm
Yeah.
for
It doesn't.
for,
Absolutely doesn't.
for Hornswoggle or Jackass.
Well, I know there was. I know
What a
there
tag
was
team though, Hornswoggle and Wee Man.
yeah,
What a tag
the
team.
wee men.
They should have gone on.
you know, I can see this going down like a bad rabbit hole. We're going to end up getting offended.
Let's not do that.
Oh, big.
But yeah.
Massive news for him. 5 years, fair play to him. There's a lot of legends they could sign, but they sign Hornswoggle.
I heard recently that RVD has a just going on the topic of Legends deals. He's
Yeah,
got
go
a
on.
Legends deal with WWE, which allows him to work for AEW as well.
Both
Apparently.
shows.
Apparently,
Yeah. But there's more and more of that flying about at the moment.
I like it.
Yeah.
like
it.
AJ Styles has got a new contract that allows him to appear in TNA at the moment.
Oh, is that confirmed? Is it?
I think so. I read it.
Holy hell! Okay.
Because they were going to make that part of his retirement tour.
We did touch about this. I'm not sure if we touched about this before we started speaking about the podcast. I can't remember if it's on that last week's.
Well, we've seen small little intros of it, haven't we? Because even the Royal Rumble, what was it? It was Jordan. What's her name?
Jordan Grace.
That's it. Yeah, she came in on the women's, didn't she?
Yeah.
That was kind of like a big deal.
She got Hendry.
She got a really big pop for that as well.
She did. I mean, I'm pretty sure she might have been in WWE in NXT beforehand. I can't recall.
She probably made an appearance.
I think she did.
But Mickey James came out with the Impact title as well, didn't she?
That was the first sort of
seeing that
crossover we saw. Really
weird though, wasn't it? Like like you saw like Impact TNA Impact Champion appear on WWE like programming.
It was Knockouts Champion, wasn't it? But it was like they didn't. Yes. They did. Did they promote it as Knockouts on the logo, or did they see TNA? I can't remember. But it was there was a bit of politics behind that if you look into it deeper. But
and that was in the Vince era as well. So
of course it was.
So yeah, Vince's illegitimate son Hornswoggle is here. That's a big one for me.
I was literally trying to remember. I couldn't remember if it was Finley's or if it was Vince's.
Definitely Vince's. Yeah. Some of the other effed up shit that he's been dealing with recently that just contributes.
That was such a weird little spot on.
As long as it,
they didn't cover that in the documentary though. You should have covered that.
As long as it wasn't Stephanie as the mother. Then,
That's the most. I still can't believe that. I still can't believe he was actually going to go through with that. But yeah. So are we going UFC or WWE? What should we do? So I just want to drop that in.
I don't know. We could either do a little bit of dabbling, or we could just go straight in.
Doing a dab. Yeah. Why don't we go UFC first?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, as far as event, we had a fight night. I did watch it. It was a little bit. I've not been the biggest fan of the fight nights over the last couple months. Yeah, it's been kind of general feedback. So.
You didn't even like the Saint Denis fight from the week before. That was a good event.
No, yeah, those ones are good. What it is, sorry, I should preface this. It's more so the ones that have been in the
Apex.
In the Apex, yeah.
Yeah.
The UFC Apex cards. It was obviously good when COVID had happened and they managed to adjust. They were the only people in sports who are actually able to put on events because they had that and
WWE. They did the performance.
Yeah, exactly. They did the exact same thing because they've got their own spot. But it's getting to that point now where it's kind of just like, maybe they should just move out of the Apex. But I don't think they will because it makes them a bunch of money. They save money by not having to get venues, and then they can put on these cards.
Production-wise, it's got to be one of the cheapest options for Dana. He can run TV out of there without actually having to spend a lot of money on doing arenas up.
It's true.
Lighting.
It's true, but it shows.
It does show. I know what you mean. Like when you're watching a fight or a UFC event in an arena or a stadium, well, they don't do it in stadiums, but in an arena, the vibe is totally different.
Yeah.
Like even 100%. Like the walkouts and when they're walking out and they're playing their music, it almost silent. Like echoes in the room.
Yeah.
And there's just no like fan reaction, nothing.
They've been doing those things where they get the small set of fans, like 50 people in there, and it's just kind of weird. But
it looks like a COVID venue.
Do you know they're actually coming up to their 100th UFC Apex event? That's how far in.
100th.
Yeah, they've actually just announced the UFC Apex 100, or they call it UFC Vegas. UFC Vegas.
100.
So that's going to be a thing.
So yeah, this was 98, just gone by.
Wow, that's mad.
Do you think they'll do something big for? Are they doing something big for 100?
I can't remember who's on it. You might need to pull that up. Just type in UFC Apex 100 or UFC Vegas 100.
I've got this here.
Good luck. Actually see the screen now. This is a good angle.
Yeah, it would be nice if they got to 100 and they said, we're going to retire it now because we're out of the COVID era.
Yeah,
so
it was when it first started. It was really great because you got to hear certain things. You get to hear the coaches really clear when they go back to the corners. You kind of hear the strikes, and when someone's like getting like really like laid into, you could hear like kind of how impactful the shots were.
Yeah.
But it's now kind of got to that point where it's like the cards being as mid as they are, and then them also being in the Apex is just.
Well, when I watched it at the weekend, I could hear some impacts. I could hear some shots.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That main event, which I'm sure you'll come on to.
Yeah. So that's the main thing that I was going to talk about, to be honest. Obviously, we had Tatsuro Taira and Brandon Royval. Been a big Royval fan since he actually got into the UFC. Just feel like his style was super entertaining, to be honest. He's like very impactful. He's super quick. He always pretty much pushing for a finish. So
And where were they ranked? These guys, it was 1 and 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Royval has worked. He's had a shot at the title. He's lost to Pantoja already, but he's holding the number 1 spot still.
Right.
And Tatsuro Taira has been working his way through the rankings. So he was actually 16-0 coming into this fight. This is the highest he's been in the division so far at number 5.
Right.
And he's been very, very entertaining.
Yeah.
He's been very entertaining. He's got like a really good ground game. He's super aggressive with it. He gets, even with this fight, he got in like a good ground and pound when he was kind of going for the grappling. But he's known to be like a really, really like dialed in when it comes to submissions. And
there's a bit of a tale. There's a bit of a fight of two tails, wasn't it? This one, because there was a bit of ground, bit of feet. It was a bit of an all rounder, wasn't it? From what I saw.
Yeah, and Taira is also really, really good at. He's got decent striking, I'll say. But Royval is just that next level. He's super, super quick. So it was. He came out the gate. He was going really, really quick. He was mixing it up. Knees, crazy kicks to the body. So I think when you were saying about you're hearing some impacts, he was laying into the body with those kicks, man. They sounded really, really bad.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this guy, right? I didn't watch it. I'll admit that. I'll admit that. But my God, this guy looks scary, man.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what?
His nickname is what tickled me right there, man. Raw Dog.
He does have a resting bitch face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I would not want to bump into him.
But do you know what?
On a bad day.
He's actually such a sound guy. When you actually listen to him in interviews, he seems like a really, really humble, really nice guy.
Yeah.
But he's vicious. He's vicious, and that's part of the reason why, like I say, why I like his style. And it was interesting because he came out, he was throwing some big heavy strikes, like I say, mixing it up, and then this was quite an interesting one, to be honest, because he had the first round, and then Taira took the second round with heavy grappling, ground and pound, throwing some nasty elbows in there. Then he got tired, and then Royval sort of came back into his own, and then it got back into striking, and then he got tired, and then the same happened again. So it was almost like he had a mirror image. So 2 and 4 went exactly the same way, and 1 and 3 went exactly the same way, but they went both to each guy. So going into round 5, it was pretty much that was the defining round.
It was a close fight.
Yeah, and fair play to Taira. Like Taira's 24.
He's young.
He's 24. He's one of the youngest in that division. He might be the youngest in the division. I'm not too sure. But he's one of the youngest in the division. He's top 5 already.
Yeah.
Like, Royval is 10, almost, he's 8 years. He's 8 years older than him.
Fair play.
So he's got a lot more experience.
So Royval's probably in his prime now, though, isn't he? He's probably there. He's like, I mean, he's going to be...
Yeah.
Obviously, this fight had title implications, didn't it? Realistically, whoever wins this is going to get Pantoja, right?
So I was rooting for... Royval to be champion before Moreno was champion, because I just liked his style. I do like Moreno.
Did you like his swag?
Moreno?
Yeah.
His swag?
Yeah.
Why'd you say that?
Well, you liked his style, but did you also like his swag? Did you like him? Did you like him as a person?
You are such a cheeseball for that,
Sorry,
man.
go on, man.
But I think his style's just super entertaining. Did you find the fight?
I found it very entertaining. Yeah. One of the better ones I've seen. Definitely, I like it when it's a bit all round. When there's a bit of ground, goes the distance. Both the guys are showing off their cardio, because obviously they got to the end and they didn't seem like either of them were really gassing that much. I enjoyed it. I didn't know who was going to win. And like you said, all the rounds were split, so it makes it for a more enjoyable fight.
Fight of the night as well.
There
we go.
But it just didn't finish in a knockout, or.
Does it need to be a knockout to be a good fight?
To be, man.
So this is the thing I like about watching UFC and the main events and stuff. This wasn't a championship fight, but it was 5 rounds, right? So that goes to show realistically who's next in line. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. It was fun to watch. But I was just waiting for that. Just waiting for it.
Yeah,
it's like boxing, man. It's no different to boxing.
Nah, but the thing is, you can have such you can have a fight that is super entertaining that ends up going the distance, and sometimes that's more of almost like a tease than actually getting the knockout.
Yeah.
It depends on the fight, to be honest. Like, sometimes you get remembered the other way. So, for example, Max and Justin Gaethje when they done BMF.
Mad.
Like I didn't think it wasn't the best fight because Max was absolutely killing Gaethje. He was killing him. But what made it was the knockout
at the end.
literally on the last second.
I still would have enjoyed that fight though.
It was a fun
I know what
fight.
you're saying, but it
was a
wasn't
fun fight.
as...
It wasn't competitive.
Yeah.
It
but
wasn't competitive.
The knockout was the spectacle of it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'll have to address this because you've mentioned this a couple times, to be fair.
Just tell Dana to make sure all of his fights finish in a knockout and I'm sound.
Yeah, now he always does this. Oh yeah,
Yeah, so he'll do it for you, man.
I'm going to increase the bonuses so there'll be a knockout. And it's like, that's not how it works, Dana.
Nah.
Well,
That's literally not how it works.
Maybe that should be how it works. Maybe these fighters should think, hang on, I'm going to get £100,000 into my kitty. I want
Surely there's like clauses in their contract. If they win a certain amount of matches by knockout within their contract, they get more money. Like the UFC game when you're signing contracts in the career mode, right? Surely something like that happens. Like if you win X amount in a knockout, you get an extra bonus.
Potentially, I don't know.
That's the thing. There is.
I wouldn't have a clue.
People use it in their negotiation, to be honest, especially if you're gonna get a viral moment. You can actively track those impressions, to be fair. How many times people are going to see a video, how many times they're going to share a video. There was a really good knockout like from a couple of years ago. Joaquin Buckley, he gave like one of the best knockouts, super viral. And I think it was around the same year when Masvidal knocked out Ben Askren, you know, the one with the knee.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I know which one you mean.
I think it was the same time as that one. And that, if you were watching, you knew who Buckley was.
Yep.
But Buckley kind of got a name for himself. It was like a back kick, a spinning kick.
Kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? Yeah.
That's it there.
On Fight Island.
Yes, that's it.
Let's quickly play it.
If we could bring it up. We'll have to try and edit it in.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, my word. Yeah.
Wow. See, that's what I want to see.
He caught the leg.
And then just bang. Oh, his lights are out.
That's some three ninja shit right there, man.
He's dead.
My goodness.
UFC 254.
Oh my God, he's dead.
Okay, yeah.
Mental.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like I think he used that to maybe leverage himself into getting a better contract. But you never really know because UFC is kind of, well, obviously everyone's kind of funny about obviously disclosing contracts because they want to, keep the fighters were kind of where they are. You don't want to kind of use other people's information to negotiate for a better time.
Of course.
Yeah.
Going back to your point about the Apex, this is the 100 card.
Oh yes, Neil Magny,
and you got Cody Garbrandt as well.
There's been a lot.
I like Cody, man.
There's been a lot of fights that have come out this week, hasn't there? There's been a lot of fights added to a lot of cards.
Carolina as well.
I'm sure. You got Carolina there.
So when is this happening?
Gerald Mershaw and
on the 10th of November.
10th of November.
Gerald Mershaw there is fighting that guy, Rene de Ridder.
I've heard of him before.
He is the guy he was a 2-time champ. He's come from ONE FC, which is basically the UFC over in Asia.
Ah, it's like a sub-brand.
Okay.
It's basically them, but over in they fight mainly over in Thailand, Singapore, those kind of areas.
So why don't they just incorporate all of that into the main UFC product? Why have they got
No. It's a separate brand.
Oh, completely separate brand.
It's almost like AEW and WWE, but imagine they were both on the other side of the planet.
Oh, so they don't have any affiliation with UFC whatsoever?
No, so he's just recently left UFC. ONE FC, and he was the champ over there.
Right.
And he's come over to UFC now.
That's pretty cool, man.
The only time when there's been that kind of trade is when Demetrius Johnson left. So when he lost his fight against Henry Cejudo, they traded him for Ben Askren, who was in ONE.
Okay.
He's looking like a custom fighter, though, at the moment. Generic fighter 1.
That's the sign of a new
website.
That's literally the sign of a new man.
He obviously hasn't gone for a shoot or anything.
I am interested on a separate point with this guy. He won.
Who is that guy?
He won.
He won
the Ultimate Fighter, didn't he?
Yeah.
He won it, no? Or he was in it.
Who are you talking about?
I think what happened was he got injured.
Who are you talking about?
Treshawn Gore.
Treshawn Gore. Okay.
Didn't he get injured in his debut fight on the card? And then he got injured beforehand or something. But this guy, when I was watching him in the Ultimate Fighter, he is a beast, man. So he's someone to worry about, man.
He was on the same season as remember when we spoke about Brian Battle?
Yep.
Yeah, he was on that same season there. So
yeah, he is something else, man.
At least I think he was.
But this is a name that I want to keep keep in my head, man, because he looks like he's got the look, and he just looks like he'll mess anyone up. And he's shown his worth on the Ultimate Fighter, that's for sure. If you didn't watch it, then recommend watching that season, man. I think it was recent as well.
Yeah, so pretty much. So that's what's the actual date on that?
10th of November.
10th of November. Okay, so it's happening before the end of the year. But yeah, it looks like we've got most of the cards lined up between now and the end of the year. I think they've been announcing the ones for 310 as well, which is the last card of the year.
So all those run out
in December. So that's looking like it's shaping up to be a pretty decent
December
card.
8th.
Unbelievable main events coming up.
Yeah.
Some big fights.
Yeah, there's some good ones. There's some good ones.
Jones and Miocic, the 17th of November.
We spoke about that
big one
a couple of times.
That's the one we're waiting on.
I've been seeing that there's a lot more kind of trash talk going on.
And also I saw Aspinall come out and say he had been like called as a backup fighter, right?
Yeah, I think we discussed that
Yeah.
before. But he's definitely the backup.
Aspinall is the backup fighter.
Yeah.
However,
just in case Jones bottles it.
John has pulled out of fighting before.
Before you're about to literally
he's
jab me to the heart and pulled out of this one.
No, he hasn't pulled out of this one. But he's pulled out before when he didn't have when he had a late replacement.
I don't think he'll pull out of this one though. There's not much chance of him doing that.
Well, what I'm saying is if Miocic was injured and then he had to fight Tom, I think he would pull out. I think he'll bottle it.
Don't do it, Jones. Stay with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as everything else, so I've just been mainly keeping my eye on the news.
Yes.
As far as that was a bit loud though. My bad. Getting a bit excited.
We can all hear.
I was just gonna say, in terms of viral moments, I've been seeing something that went viral this pretty much over the last week or so.
Okay.
When we last recorded, Aline Pereira, who is Alex's sister.
There's another Pereira coming out of the camp.
There's a female Pereira.
Oh my lord!
Who got a viral knockout. And Dana actually reposted the video.
So you think he's signing her?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she hasn't got a super. Okay, so she has a resume in Glory Kickboxing, which is one of the organizations that Pereira used to fight for. He was double champ over in Glory Kickboxing. She has gone over to Glory Kickboxing, and
you get a picture up of her, J-Dog.
Since then, she has she's dabbled in MMA. She's only had 3 fights, but she's 2-3. But they all went to unanimous decision. So she's lost 2. She's won 1, and then now she's with another promotion, KC Karate Combat, and. Yeah, she got a pretty viral knockout. I just thought that it was interesting, though, the fact that Dana reposted the clip.
Well, that's a sign of things to come then, maybe.
Yeah.
And she's acknowledging the bloodline. That way.
She is, she's 130 pounds, so she slap bang between 2 of the divisions. So she would either be in 125, which is Valentina's division, or she would be in 135, which would be Pena's division.
Those are one that we 2 great divisions to land in. I want to see some fights. But then again, once you get in the cage, though, you don't know how she's going to be, realistically.
Yeah.
She's going to have to be tested.
Yeah, 100%.
But if she's got Pereira blood, you'd like to think...
Yeah.
She's got something about her.
So she actually knocked this girl out with the same left hook, which Alex is known for.
So have they trained together? Obviously, they must train together.
Obviously,
did they come up in the same place? Did they what's the age gap between Alex and her? Do we know?
Well, she's 34.
She's 34 and Alex is 37, right?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason as well why I thought it was interesting, the fact that Dana's going to repost her, because Dana probably knows that the fact that if she's going to be 34, she's not going to have a super long time left. So they'll probably do a thing similar to what they did with Alex. Is if they do decide that they're going to bring her in, they're going to steamroll her straight towards the title as soon as they can.
Well, here's a question: do you think Dana would have even looked at her if Alex Pereira wasn't in the position that he's in?
No.
So she's coming in off the Pereira name?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Well, you say
it's got me interested.
You say that, right?
Just that she's a Pereira.
Why did they sign Alex Pereira?
I don't know.
Because he was the only person to beat Izzy.
Okay.
Who was also a champion. So that's the thing. People like the name affiliation because they say, oh, well, he beat this guy.
But that's a legitimate reason.
Bring him in.
Touching back on that.
Go on.
Last week we spoke about the loss that Alex Pereira had in kickboxing to one guy. And then it turns out that guy won Dana White's Contender series.
Yeah, he's on. He
won a contract.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was this week.
So there we go. Like it's almost like a full. It's going in like a line, isn't it? Obviously,
weird,
Izzy came in, Pereira came in, and now this guy's coming in. I do forget his name, but
it's almost as if Dana planned this.
Well, you can't plan previous losses, can you?
Screw job, mate.
The thing is, like we know that, like I say, when you end up posting that sort of thing online, it's gonna gain attention just based off of the history.
Yeah,
and the fact of who Pereira is, the fact that people like Pereira. He's one of the more dominant light heavyweight champions that we've seen in the last couple of years. Like you have a storyline that's built in to bring in this new person, and if they're going to come in and they're going to storm the division, then
I'm all for it.
Yeah, man,
I'm for it as well.
That's the whole point of competition, right?
Yeah, as well. That sounds great.
And that's what makes it. That's what makes us watch it as well.
Do you think she'll come out to the same kind of entrance as Alex? Same music. Do you think she'll do the bow and arrow?
Oh, Aline, yeah.
A bit cheese to knock off your brother, though, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe they come out together.
Maybe they have been. Maybe they have been in a corner. Yeah, maybe that's been
mixed tag team.
Maybe she's been in his corner. Right? But maybe I don't know.
They do that in some crazy Russian promotions. They do like tag team MMA fights. It's absolutely bizarre.
What a great idea, though! Imagine they incorporating that as another topic.
It's chaos. But yeah. Other than that, I think I completely forgot about that news. So yeah, hats off for
I mentioned it. I mentioned it after the podcast.
Yeah.
Great.
And the other thing that I've seen got some attention, and we reposted on the story on our socials, was the fact that Dana acknowledged.
He acknowledged him.
He acknowledged, not the OTC.
The one's in the air, boy.
Not the OTC, but the female GOAT, Amanda Nunes.
So hang on, right? I'm going to debate this with you now because.
Yep.
He acknowledges John Jones as the GOAT in the male side of things, which you don't agree with.
No. He says that he's the GOAT, but what he says is he's pound for pound, which pound for pound is based off of recency.
He said in a press conference, John Jones is the greatest of all time. He made that so clear.
No. Yeah, and I agree. John is the GOAT.
Okay, fine.
He's the GOAT, but he's not the pound for pound.
No, he's not
that make
pound
sense?
for pound. Yeah, no, not now.
It's kind of saying like, like Taker would be like the guy in WWE. I'm like, yeah, he was the guy, but it doesn't mean he's the guy right now.
Times change.
He's the GOAT by his accolades, not his pound for pound performance.
Yeah, exactly. And if you put him in there with some real killers in there, aka Tom Aspinall,
Big T,
it's like you're gonna have some problems.
Can't wait for that.
But anyway, we're talking about Nunes.
Yeah.
So he mentioned the fact that he saw Nunes. He was smiling. He was grinning ear to ear, and he was saying that she looks good. She looks in shape.
Yep.
And then since then as well, Kayla and Juliana have also talked about her on different interviews. So
Juliana's actually acknowledged her because she didn't acknowledge her after her win.
Yes.
Did she?
Well, she didn't acknowledge Kayla, yeah, but she wants to bring in Nunes. She wants the Nunes fight, and I think Kayla also in an interview that she done on most recent episode of Ariel Helwani, I think she said that if it was between both fights, she would go for Nunes.
She would.
Yeah. But the rumor is at the moment that Nunes wants whoever's going to win between them two. So she wants to...
Makes it a longer build, I guess.
Yeah.
Dana White would prefer that. There's more moolah involved in that.
Of course. Whatever makes the most money is what they'll do, right?
That's the fight business.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I suppose it would also make the Amanda fight a little bit more exciting to see because then she's going to be going up against someone who's got a bit of steam. Obviously, I know they've got steam already, but even more.
Yeah,
and then she just puts a halt to it. I'd prefer that way. Anyway.
Yeah, I think that'll be more interesting.
So we think she's coming then? We think that's going to happen?
Yeah, it was nice the way it kind of worked out because we had the podcast.
Yeah.
Then the day that we put the podcast up, he spoke about it. And then between now and the next time of us recording, there's been a bit more chatter, which seems to kind of almost verify that it could be in the pipeline. It seems like it's going to work.
There we go.
Wicked. Get her over.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know. Other than that... Not really much else on the news front. So I don't know if you want to go into WWE or...
So off the back of Fight Night then, just to summarise it. Obviously, I know it's Fight Night. Fight Night's Fight Night. It's obviously the main event. The result of that, we are now probably going to see...
I don't know if we're going to see another Pantoja Royval fight because... Bring it up, JD. When was the last time that they fought?
Royval obviously fought this weekend.
No, sorry.
No,
Royval
against
versus
Pantoja.
Pantoja.
Oh, when did they
for
fight?
a title.
Yeah.
Can we
And
bring up the stats for the fight?
Because I heard the commentators saying when he was walking in,
Wasn't it
that
earlier
obviously
this year?
he'd lost to Pantoja.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
There it
And
is.
he done away.
like December last year.
September.
Yeah, exactly. And he's done away with Moreno, who was the last person to hold the title before that. So
So split decision.
How did Pantoja win?
it went to
Decision. Unanimous.
That one.
Unanimous decision.
So these last 3 fights really have been all decisions, man.
I mean, you've always said that division isn't packed full of like talent.
Heavy hitters.
This one was actually a split decision. This one,
This most recent one, yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been, mate. I'm
that was in
quite annoyed I
Mexico,
missed that
wasn't
fight. To be honest with you, I need to pay more
a good one to
attention, mate.
catch.
My fault.
It's a good one to catch, to be
good one.
honest.
My bad.
It's a good one. It's hard. It's obviously fight nights most weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of decisions on that card, though, only a few knockouts from what I saw,
Yeah.
like on the main anyway. Just by looking at what I saw on here, but yeah, like seems like it was a pretty good. Well, from what you guys have said.
So we don't think that's got a title implication. Then we just think that was a fight for rankings.
It's
for entertainment.
It's one of those awkward situations, kind of similar to like what's been happening with Max Holloway. Like obviously he was floating around.
Yeah.
He's been floating around at number one ever since he lost to Volk, and obviously the title since changed from Volk to Ilya. But you know, sometimes you have that guy who's literally just waiting at the number one spot, and everyone who comes into contact with him. He'll crush him. So I think that might be a situation for Royval where he might either just have to grind for a little bit and stay at number one.
Yep.
And then eventually they'll give him another opportunity, or you know, it might just be the way the cookie crumbles. He might fight somebody else and then might lose a spot. But sometimes what they do is, because they know that the number one, who's just underneath the champion, is so dominant. Like that's what happened with Volk. He said, "Stop giving the guys to Max. Stop giving Max my guys.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm not going to have anyone to fight in the division." So,
Stop feeding.
yeah,
Stop feeding.
He had already beaten Max 3 times.
Right.
So it's just like
I want to see Volk again. I haven't seen Volk. I know he's
coming
since
back.
he lost.
You're coming back. Don't worry, man.
Volk will
He's gonna have a little appearance next year. I think he's
love
gonna
the Volk.
plot up early next year. I think.
Yeah, get some steam back.
I'm gonna call maybe March.
March time.
We'll hear from him in March, and he'll announce a fight. I don't think we'll see him fight in March, but I think he'll be around March time.
He would
I don't
appear.
know. Maybe
He turns up at a lot of events though, doesn't he? He's always in the crowd. He
Yeah.
turns up like he's always there watching most of them.
He likes being active, but he I can't remember if it's that division. I'll have to give me just a second. I'm just going to pull something up. But there was one of the divisions that I saw the other day. They're like all the guys they get. I think it was lightweight actually.
Yeah.
They're like all the guys there. They're getting on.
Well, in terms of age, yeah.
Actually, it's welterweight. So yeah, you're looking here at the
There are
top.
some big ages there.
You're looking at the top 15. You got Magny 37, MVP 37, Wonderboy 41, Jeff Neal 34, Burns 38, Covington 36, Usman 37, and you got Bilal at 36.
Well, maybe
So-
that is just the standard age for fighters of that division now. Maybe that's becoming the new standard.
I always thought MVP though would come to UFC earlier than he did.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
old.
I always wanted that
considering.
to happen. There was contract negotiations
took
a
a
few
while.
years ago, and I was hoping then.
You're still hoping for the McGregor MVP fight though. Your fantasy booking the other week. That could still come true.
just in terms of selling, yeah.
I think that'd be great. That's such a good shout.
And the thing is, it sounds kind of crazy probably if somebody's listening to this, because obviously the size, the weight, but you know, Connor's been out, like he hasn't been at his regular kind of fighting weight for a long time. So I don't see why it can't happen, and it could be good. But
That's
I
a
think
big money fight.
Entertaining for sure.
He's actually that's something that I didn't mention.
Go on.
They had the bare knuckle event on the weekend, which was in Spain.
Right.
So you've been. I'm not sure if you guys have been seeing the clips kind of floating around.
Yeah, is this the one where you can't quite understand what he's saying? It sounds like he's just talking gibberish to who was it in the backstage area that you saw at the Joshua fight, and he was like, "Oh, I'll see you at the bare knuckle. I'll see you at the bare knuckle."
No, yeah, I can't actually remember.
I'm going off on a tangent with that probably.
But
We're talking about Connor, right?
yeah.
He just needs to get off the gear, man.
Yeah.
He needs to sort his life out.
He
My
he's not
God.
he's not motivated. There's always this joke, this meme about motivated Connor, but he seems like he's not motivated because he's actually he's just been too busy getting pissed up, to be honest.
When he was on it,
He's having a good time.
When he was on it, there's a clip floating around where he quoted, and I quote, "Partying is a weakness for the soul," or something like that. And you look at him now.
Oh, right. It's
this is when he was back in the day when he was making the name for himself.
Yeah, exactly. And he's on the other side of the coin now, isn't
he? He's Kanye'd himself, man.
He's looking a bit bigger around the face, isn't he? He looks swollen.
Well, he took a bit of the gear, and now as well he's busy getting pissed up all the time. But
got on the roids for the.
He got Dan Hooker out there.
Right.
And he said to Dan Hooker that he wanted to have a fight with Hooker in February. He announced it in the middle of BKFC in the middle of the ring. There's been no confirmation from Dana or the UFC or anything.
So do you think he was just saying that to get a bit of crowd hype on the night, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Because obviously we talked about the fact that Chandler's had moved on, so he needs a new fight. So I think he wants somebody like Hooker. Hooker's a decent fight. Hooker's just kind of edged his way into the top 5. So I think as well, Connor's kind of looking at it like, somebody who's decent competition who can.
I love the way that we still like Connor is still a topic of conversation, even though he hasn't actually been in a fight for however long.
Well, that's the thing. I'm only bringing
signs of it.
I find it amusing. The thing is, a lot of people who. Most of the time, whenever I go on any of the comments of these MMA communities, a lot of people will basically say if Conor was never going to fight again, they wouldn't be too fast. He can still have entertaining fights.
Massively.
He can still have entertaining fights.
He's a fighter.
The thing is, he's been very inconsistent for the last couple years. So it's just like, I don't know if I'd watch it and I wouldn't complain about it, but I'm not going to hold my breath, basically.
You're not bothered either way by a Conor appearance. Yeah, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah. I don't think he should. I wouldn't want to see him hold up a UFC pay-per-view, though. I'd rather have a title fight and a fight with him. Because they were planning on doing that with Chandler, weren't they? It was going to be McGregor-Chandler.
Yeah.
No title fight, nothing.
Yes, yeah.
I'd rather see a co-main.
Oh, rather, co-main, that's it. Yeah, a bit like what they're doing with Bilal. You don't really draw.
But McGregor now is a name more than a fighter at this moment in time.
Yeah. Well, he's a celebrity, isn't he? He's the biggest thing that's come out of the company.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
He's obviously like one of the he's the biggest name to cross over. Him and obviously Rousey, like they kind of got themselves into a position where they're just now their name it'll generate clicks even if they're not in their best fight.
Feed him to Bronson Reed.
Paddy Pimblett's next.
Feed him to Bronson Reed, man. Put him in a hardcore match.
Feed him to Roman, man.
Feed him to Roman.
Oh, there's a random one actually. Have you, from the time when you've been watching, did you ever watch Cowboy Cerrone fight?
I like the name rings a bell. I'd like to say yes. I might need a reminder of him.
Yeah. So when Conor had his comeback fight, he had it against Cowboy Cerrone. That's when he smacked him with the shoulder.
Shoulder barge his nose.
Sorry, yes, I have. Yes, so I remember that fight.
Cowboy. The thing online recently is Cowboy Cerrone is actually going to come back. He hung up and he retired, and he said that he's going to come back for 2 fights because he will be the first person, or I think he'll basically hit the 50 record in 50 fights
in UFC.
I think he's had 30 something wins, and I think he's had 16, 17 losses.
So how old is he now? He must be getting on.
40, he's getting 40 on. Hold on.
He's getting on, but he said he's going to come back. He wants to have 2 fights because he wants to finish on the 50.
Wow. I mean, I'm 33 and
41.
I feel brittle. Imagine going in there in your 40s. I know you condition differently, but flip, man, it's a risk.
He has been on the stuff.
Oh, okay.
He has been on the stuff. Even on his tweet, actually, he said,
"Yeah, you can tell. Look at that."
He said that he's gonna cycle off now, and he's gonna piss clean, and he's basically gonna come back.
He's chasing 50 UFC fights.
Yep.
So has that never been done before?
He doesn't only want to win. He wants a finish. He wants a bonus. He wants the most wins in UFC history.
Yep.
He wants the most finishes, most bonuses, and most walks to that cage. So yes, that would be.
I think
he's not chasing
a lot of.
Yeah.
He wants it all. So is that never been done before?
Yeah. He'll be the guy to break it because when he was in UFC, he's been in the UFC for a long time, very early, obviously in his career, and he's just stayed in the UFC for the whole time. So
Andrei Arlovsky is at 42, Jim Miller at 44, but we've got.
He's a loyal dude.
Yeah.
So just a quick. So
that's for. Oh, never mind.
For the rest of the numbered events coming up for the year, and just reel off the main events, what we got to look forward to.
Oh, so the next one
because we've been them all charted up.
Promoing is obviously the Topuria and Max fight.
That's a big fight. Look forward to that.
That has been getting some.
That's going to be a mad fight.
I can't wait for that fight.
Have you been?
I've been keeping up on the old jip between them both, man.
Yeah, the trash talk is very entertaining.
But I think even the action, like the actual fight itself, I think that's going to go. I think there's going to be a knockout or a submission in that. Their styles would suit it.
I don't know if this is bollocks or not yet, but I saw a quote from Tatsuro. It might have been bullshit, but he said, "Sometimes I look from my waist down and think that I'm more African than Francis Ngannou." That's the kind of guy we're dealing with Ilia Tatsuro. This is the guy.
He said it in context to something else, because basically Conor McGregor, when he was at Bare Knuckle, it was in Spain. It was in Marbella,
right?
And obviously Tatsuro is not there.
Obviously, he's in Marbella.
Yeah, exactly. So it was there in Spain, and Tatsuro is over in he's over Far East at the moment, obviously getting ready for this event.
Yeah.
So he basically, Conor said something about Tatsuro there, and then he was basically like, "Oh, I'm here. I'm in Spain. I'm in your town, like, or whatever." And he was like, "I'm more Spanish than he is," basically. And then he basically said, "Yeah, but sometimes I look in the mirror and I see like myself from the waist down. I think I'm
Francis Ngannou,
man."
Oh,
so
wow.
that was what he said.
Entertaining for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's a great promo.
It was a bit like when he said it, it was like, oh,
a bit like, what the fuck. Yeah. Mixed reaction. Yeah. Blurred lines.
He's a bit of like a
blurred tan lines.
I like Tuporia's talk, because in that same interview, actually, he said he called out Max about that last second knockout with Justin. So he said he pointed to the middle of the ring. He said, "Last 10 seconds, we're going there. We're going to throw down." He said, "This time
we're going to do it in
the first 10."
Sorry to steal your thunder on that quote. But God, I saw that as well.
So that could be a quick one.
But
chances are it won't. The first 10, they'll just dance around and just feel each other out.
I really, really hope that he points to the middle in the first 10 seconds and they start throwing down. That would be...
Imagine if that becomes Holloway's thing now.
Absolutely ridiculous.
After the Gaethje thing, every single fight now, he just points to the middle at the beginning of each one and just goes.
Yeah.
Dana White will literally suck him off.
And then, damn.
Literally.
Damn.
He'd be making great TV.
But... Holloway's never ever been knocked down.
Yes, I read this.
He's never ever been knocked down. So not knocked out. He's never been knocked down.
Okay.
So for Tatsuro to basically say,
not even for like a submission or nothing. Sorry, you mean he's been taken down?
He's been taken down. He's never been knocked down by a punch or a kick.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone says that he's got the granite chin in UFC.
Sounds like it, man. Well, maybe this could be.
We'll see
the time.
So for Tatsuro to basically say like, I'm gonna call you out in the first 10 seconds, it's a big bold claim. But Tatsuro is bold, because even before he won the title against Volk, he updated his bio on Instagram, basically saying UFC champion.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. Literally, he was spoiling it.
He's even bought himself a BMF belt, and he's basically saying, I'm the BMF and the champ.
This guy, man.
Love it. What a guy. So that's in a couple of weeks, and we've got a couple of fight nights in between that. So I'm assuming you'll keep us posted on progress and banter and news and all of that as we build up to it.
Yeah.
But that's some good cards.
Got
Mohammed and Shavkat.
Mohammed and Shavkat. They've been building that up a fair bit.
Bilal's first defense. Hopefully it won't just be another ground game.
Like custom fighter again.
Yeah, so this guy,
Asakura, Japanese.
He's
creative fighter.
He's the first person in I can't remember what the stat is in the amount of years, but he's going to debut to actually having a title fight.
Wow, he must have some serious stats about him in other promotions then. Has he done some good things?
I don't know.
0-0-0-0.
I don't think they've updated this.
He's got... That would almost be like
that would be like
remember when Francis fought Fury.
Oh,
he's never had a fight. But, in boxing,
still knocked him down though.
Yeah, and people say that he arguably won. So
and then Joshua comes along and just knocks him clean out.
Yeah.
Anyway, another
Francis is fighting this week.
He's in the PFL, isn't he?
Yeah, that's actually a good card. I wasn't really. I'm not going to go fully into like PFL, but the PFL card.
Yeah, we don't want to do the disrespect.
PFL is a card that's happening this weekend, isn't it?
They call it the Battle of the Giants, aren't they?
Battle of the Giants. Yeah. And that actually has a really, really good card.
Okay.
That is PFL's one of their best cards that they've had so far. So
don't tell anybody, but maybe I'll just dial in to see Ngannou fight. I might just dial in.
I'm gonna watch it. There's like 2 or 3.
This is a TKO podcast, man. You can't be declaring
3 or 4 good fights on there.
You can't be declaring you're going to watch PFL on a TKO poddy, man.
I'm a big Francis supporter, man.
We'll get cut off.
we're on big Francis.
Well, we had to speak about him
Dana needs to just, swallow his pride. Bring back Francis. Let him come back. They should almost do like a 4-way kind of
fatal 4-way
of
tournament.
The heavyweights.
Well, I think Dana White needs to swallow his pride on that. I agree, but he just won't share no pie.
Obviously.
Going back quickly to Kai Asakura, so we say 25 fights in total, 21 wins, 13 by knockout, 2 by submission, 5 by decision, and 4 losses. He's been knocked out 3 times and lost by decision once.
And what's his promotion? Where's he been fighting?
Oh,
he has been fighting.
He fought for Ryzen.
Ryzen.
Yeah, I did look this up before actually.
Fighting Federation.
He was the Ryzen champ. So Ryzen is another one over in Japan.
Japan are good with combat, aren't they? Like all round, like wrestling, cage fighting. They have so many athletes that come out of there. Like New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's the other big promotion. Like it's big.
Noah isn't Noah. I think Noah as well. You may not have heard of Noah, but I believe that's another promotion.
Right.
Shinsuke Nakamura has said on his Instagram or something that he's going to go to have another match over there.
I completely forgot Nakamura even existed.
He hasn't been on TV in a while. Triple H, what's going on?
I completely forgot about that guy. I completely forgot about him.
It's like
yeah, it's strange, man. He looks like he's taking some kind of narcotics. It's weird.
To be fair, that's a good transition for us to work our way into WWE, I guess.
Yeah, man.
No, not much other MMA news.
Yeah. Well, no, but there's been stuff happening. I'm enjoying it. I like the build to it all. So I'm looking forward to the UFC, the next 308 card. That's going to be big. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, we'll talk about it as the weeks go on. But yeah, I suppose really for me, just general news all round. There's been a few things happening outside of WWE as well. I read somewhere that Daniel Bryan's career is over.
Well, he had a fight with John Moxley at Wrestle Dream.
You're going to know more about that. Yeah,
he lost to John Moxley. So when he won the title at All In, he said when he lose, well, he didn't say it straight afterwards. I don't believe so. I think he must have said it on the next Dynamite or something.
Yeah.
When he loses the title, that will be his last full-time career match.
Well, he's been wrestling a lot, hasn't he? For them.
Oh yeah. He's been a workhorse for AEW, man.
Yeah, which I think is mad.
They all have. So is Moxley. So is.
But Moxley's a guy who is in good condition. I mean, he hasn't.
He's looking good. He's looking good these days, man.
He is now, yeah.
Yeah, and he hasn't had a history of injuries, whereas Daniel Bryan had to take years away from WWE because of his neck.
I wouldn't say life-threatening injuries. I think when he recently returned, he came back from injury. So
yeah, well, it wasn't.
These things happen, but it wasn't a long period, So.
It wasn't a long period, but he was hurt. It was like,
Oh no, so Daniel Bryan, yeah.
So for him to come in as the workhorse, like for AEW, like they have literally bled him dry, man. Like they've bled him dry. But I suppose he enjoys it. He does enjoy it.
Well, Bryan Danielson, he's not Daniel Bryan now.
Bryan Danielson. Yes.
He's
my mistake.
By birth, Bryan Danielson, I believe.
Yeah.
He's been wrestling as a free agent in AEW for the last few months.
Yes,
you know that?
Without a contract.
So, what's not to say he might make a little, hello. Could happen.
I think Triple H will welcome him back with open arms. He said he left the company on very good terms, didn't he?
Oh, naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
So did Mox. I'd like to see him back one day as well.
Mox is he's probably the closest thing to Stone Cold that you're going to get at the moment.
He's new level for AEW, man. If you're keeping up.
Bless you.
You're right there. You just sneezed.
I thought a sneeze was coming in.
No, I didn't. I didn't want to belch right into the mic. That's all.
And then other news, obviously, Bobby Lashley is also supposed to be making his way over to AEW very shortly to reunite.
I've been watching his stuff on YouTube. Actually, it's quite.
Yeah. Well, MVP and Shelton Benjamin are already there.
They with his boys.
Swerve.
Yep.
There's obviously a program going on there. I think. Bobby Lashley's on his. Well, he will make an appearance soon, 100%.
I think they completely screwed up with Lashley, man, and the way he was used towards the back end of WWE. Like, I know he had that injury, but he was in such a good place. He was over. He probably still looks as good as most of the younger wrestlers do,
I agree.
if not better.
100%.
I agree, but I think that breaking up the Hurt business should have never happened, and bringing them back should have happened.
But I shared that in the group, right? Where they said the conspiracy. What MVP was talking about, what the story was, the conspiracy. I remember speaking to you about it because we were having a bit of a back and forth discussion about it. But they said that they used a lot of the Hurt Business storyline in regards to the Bloodline.
Yes,
and Triple H used that or recycled that story and gave it to them, which took away their momentum as to what they were going to do. Obviously, it wouldn't have been exactly the same because their characters aren't the same, but it's kind of like they obviously had to then work out a new direction.
Well, Lashley was being built dominant anyway, wasn't he? He was WWE champion.
Yeah. He had a program with Lesnar going on.
That was I think good time for WWE, man.
I think the last time I saw him was
loved it when he was champion, man.
Yeah, no, he was a good champ.
He had a good character behind him as well, and he was...
Well, he was power. He was all about power, build, I'm big in the ring. Like, his mic skills were questionable sometimes.
Yeah,
it's a bit awkward. But that wasn't... That's why they put MVP with him as a spokesman, because obviously his charisma's... But he had a program with Lesnar on his way out. He had a couple of really good matches with him, and then he was in the chamber, and that was the last time I saw him. Injury, done. And then he just never really kicked off again after that, which I thought was a shame. He was in a good place, but hopefully... Tony Khan will do the business with him.
So I actually wasn't really watching at that time when the Hurt Business was kind of getting their steam. But I remember going on socials and seeing stuff about it. So I knew that at that point I was like, okay, it's interesting the fact that, his like Lashley and the faction were kind of getting there.
Well, there was a rumor they were going to be like a new Nation of Domination. First of all,
right, okay.
I saw Leo Rush announce he was all elite again. Remember Leo Rush when he was in WWE, and then he was approached by MVP in backstage as well. There's a segment of that.
Yeah, he's like a watered down version of Carmelo Hayes, in my opinion.
Well, he's been in the game longer than Carmelo Hayes, though.
Well, I think Carmelo Hayes is better.
There we go then.
But that's another topic. And then anything else that's happening outside of business at the moment? There's been a few more developments on the Vince stuff. Another Janelle Grant spokesperson came out. It's just a lot more of the same old. Like, there's more employees that apparently want to now speak out. At the moment, there's lawsuits. That
happens with every kind of big lawsuit. It happens, Tiger Woods, Bill Cosby,
hashtag
Epstein, all that sort of stuff. Like,
hashtag Vince screwed everyone.
he had a long time. He had a long time to be getting all that. Yeah. Getting all his dirt out there.
And he's got Hornswoggle as an illegitimate son, so he's been doing all sorts. My God. But yeah, I mean, there's like a minimum of 12 million settlement figure right now, but that will go up. I reckon
it's going up.
He's in a big doo-doo. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that, of course. And then, I suppose tying into the shows, really, I mean, the first thing that I thought noticeable this week on TV was that The Rock obviously made his big reappearance at Bad Blood.
Yep.
Hasn't really been mentioned since. Wasn't really mentioned on SmackDown. Wasn't really mentioned on Raw. Wasn't really involved in any way. So
slow burner. I think maybe from my perspective, I expected him to be on SmackDown, or at least something of a mention. Obviously, they run the segments from Bad Blood.
An acknowledgement of some sort.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I thought there would be more of a mention of him about what's going on with that. I don't think that's a direction they obviously want to go in at the moment.
No.
But I think from my perspective, they're playing the slow burner on us, right? I'm expecting to see more of what's going on in the cinema that is the Bloodline, man, because we're on season 4 of the Bloodline right now.
Mate, it's mad.
And
it's mad.
This is season 4, and this is why I'm watching SmackDown. It's for me is the A show at the moment, but I do have a lot to talk about on Raw as well. But
well, it crosses over. We can touch on that now because it crosses over into both shows.
Exactly.
Right? So obviously, the Bloodline. Let's just talk about it. I mean, obviously Jimmy kicked off. He's back. Jimmy Uso. That was his big comeback on SmackDown.
Match with Solo as well.
Yeah, main event Solo. Yeah, I mean, Reigns obviously came out to join him in the ring. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like Reigns on SmackDown on Friday. I didn't like his approach. I didn't like the way he was coming over. I think you got to be so careful with him because he has been so good as the heel. I don't give a shit, like bad boy tribal chief. Yeah, and the minute you start, in my opinion, giving him too much of a good-hearted tribal chief, or I want to resonate with the fans, or I want to smile and be happy, and it loses that allure.
Yeah. Slow burn, Adam. Slow burn.
No, but this ain't a slow burn. This is like, because he's been slow burning for years. This is a shift in his character.
But I just, the way I'm seeing it, if the way I see it goes, just trust in the vision at the moment, because
I'm going to trust it for now,
because I think we're going to see
they can't.
He's going to keep his character, but it's going to be they're trying to push it as a face character now, right?
Yeah. So I'm not interested in a face.
I was just going to say they can't sell it as two heels, like not in the way they're both of their characters are.
No,
he'll be.
But Reigns is not a heel and he's not a face. He's just Reigns.
Just wait and see, man.
Make your own decisions on him.
At the moment, there's a filler. Obviously, we're going to see The Rock soon enough. Right?
Yeah.
There's going to be things going on. There was that video kicking around of Solo speaking to Jacob Fatu in the audience, saying all part of the plan when The Rock came out.
We'll see.
You know, maybe he slipped up on that by saying that a bit too loud for someone's camera to hear. But you know,
it's developing.
Giving a little drip. Just trust in what they're doing, please. I'm trusting blindly, but I think it's going to go very well.
Mate, I've got nothing but faith in the creative direction of the whole thing. Yeah, because I know it's going to be brilliant, but I don't want Reigns' character to change too much amongst it.
No, me neither. If it does, then I'll be the first to tell you.
I don't want him to become Cody Rhodes.
No, he's not Cody.
Yeah,
he's not Cody, but Cody Rhodes.
Because then that's the
heel turn coming soon.
But Solo got a clean win on Jimmy.
There we go.
Yes, yeah.
Which I think he needed. To be fair, just to kind of reassert himself as actually his dominant force in the ring.
Solo's a guy, man. Like his NXT stuff was great. His mic skills are great, man. But obviously he's in a position where he's Roman from Wish.
Well, that's,
you know what I mean.
What was his character like on NXT?
He was
more of a ring man, wasn't he? He was more of like just an absolute Samoan killing machine.
He had like a segment in the ring with Gunther. Walter. Well, Gunther when he came into he had a promo when he was when he was NXT champion, I believe. No, or North. I don't remember. But there was a promo there, and he was going off on the mic, man. He can talk, man. He can talk as well as Jacob Fatu as well. We're not seeing much, but if you look at his past stuff on his indies,
he was heelish or
what Jacob or Solo? Solo was more of just like an in betweener, really, man.
Right,
and obviously he won the North American title, and then he obviously jumped in at was it Clash at the Castle?
Yeah.
Yes.
When he first appeared against Drew and Roman, and then like he had to vacate, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
After. So he was knocking about well in NXT, man. He's got some good mic skills.
Yeah, we know that's why he's in the position he's in. He's in a good place. He's getting some good. If he's amongst that storyline, he's in a good place. Which
of course,
he's doing a great job.
His family are enriched in WWE history, man. So
Samoan,
there's all of that as well, and I'm so glad that they're capitalizing on that, and there's so many of them now.
Oh, it's tons of them. They keep coming.
They're everywhere.
There'll
They're
be
everywhere.
More. And that led into Raw, because obviously then Jimmy and Reigns ended the show of, we need help.
We need help.
We need help.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to help them. I mean, I wonder. Who could it possibly be?
Yeet!
And then it ends up on Raw. Obviously, Jimmy, you just fucking yeeted, man. Oh my God. And then Jimmy obviously saw Jay backstage. They're doing the whole thing where they're not talking to each other or whatever, but that will come togetger.
We're going to see that in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to happen. You can see it.
I've, it's not actually a thought of my own, but I saw an interesting reel actually that I was gonna share. But,
Share away.
Should I play?
Share away.
Yeah, go on.
Play it, man.
Play it?
I love reels.
I just thought this was interesting. It's just because we're talking about Jimmy and Jay right now.
Come on, we're gonna get the sound through.
So yeah, this is
who is this dude?
That boy Joseph, and
I've heard of him before.
This is what he was saying.
Is this a theory? Is it?
This is really good. I can hear it.
Yeah, no, it's not actually coming through at the moment, but let's see if I can get it to come through here.
Technical difficulties.
It's all right.
No,
hang on.
Have you got it turned up on the recorder? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Jay was betrayed by his older brother. Uso is the modern day Jeff Hardy. See, Jeff, he was betrayed by his older brother, Matt Hardy.
Shadow City!
It's the sound of the chair shot around the head. Yeah, I remember
By
that.
his older brother, Jimmy.
It's over! Who the hell?
Jeff was a major babyface that was insanely over with the fame. Jey Uso, he's currently the biggest babyface who's insanely over.
So there's a reason why I'm getting into this.
Jeff Hardy's first singles title was the IC title. Jey Uso first singles title was the IC title. Jeff won a singles title before Matt Hardy. Jey Uso won a singles title before Jimmy Uso. But Matt screwed Jeff Hardy out of his championship run with the steel chair. And if the cards played right, they could have that similarity as well. The last time we saw Jay and Jimmy...
This is obviously before he returned.
And when Jimmy come back, it won't be all bubbles and rainbows. There's still a score to settle. And what better way to do so than have the overzealous brother cost the thriving twin brother everything he's earned?
Your biggest moment in your career is because of me.
So you're basically saying
They've had that promo.
mimicking the storyline.
They've had that similar before WrestleMania, right? They had a promo in the ring, and Jimmy was like, "This is all because of me. You're this hype because of me."
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I think it's just kind of interesting. It's like it's a good wrinkle because Jay is showing his reluctance to want to align, and I think that I don't really know how they're going to kind of play it. I don't think it's just like they're going to come together. Like,
I'm really glad they haven't mugged us off like, oh yeah, sure, I'm going to help you. Yeah, that's great. You probably see that randomly and there wouldn't be real explanation behind it. Back in the day, like Attitude Era kind of thing, there wouldn't be huge sort of, there wouldn't be that much of a slow burn towards it.
No. But they've also, I suppose they also leans into Braun Breaker right now because obviously he's reignited his program with Jay. They're going to have him for the IC title, so it will probably lead to Braun taking the title back. So, which we said, which Jay can then be let loose.
And then there's a Jimmy J, and then that's a very good direction to go in.
That cinematic they did on Braun Breaker for that promo he did on Raw. Did you watch that?
Oh yeah,
I thought that was really good, man.
That was after the Final Testaments, I believe.
That was it. Yeah. But I just thought that was a really good depiction of him and his character building on that.
Oh yeah,
just the whole the set,
thought process of his reasoning.
Yeah, his reasoning for doing it. Obviously, we said it was a creative switch last week, which it probably was because it looked like he was turning face, and I think they had a change of heart on it. But like even just the camera angles, the way it was shot, the lighting, the way he talks as well, the way he comes across. He honestly, he is believable, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he gave good justification as to why as well. So he's just not trying to fib us as well. He's going balls in
without doubt, and I think he means that. And from a creative standpoint as well, he wants it all. So like, I think again, Braun Breaker's in for big things. I've said that many times.
Absolutely.
And then obviously he went over on Kofi on Raw as well. So yeah, that's a big win for him. I thought the New Day were going to split.
It's happening. It's crown jewel.
It's close.
Crown jewel. I'd say.
They'll save it. It'll either be there or so.
It's close.
Going back to sort of like the beginning of Raw. No, Rhea Ripley came out.
Yeah, we can go back there.
Got a bit. Did you see that bloody hill that like Rhea Ripley's head hit the canvas and hit Tiffany Stratton's heel?
I saw this on the reel. Let me get this up quick. Yeah, this was a bad spot.
Oh my god.
She's lucky she didn't break her head open or split it open.
I can't get it bigger. Oh, there we go. Oh no, maybe not. Oh god. I don't know what I've done. Yeah, so that was just a horrible.
Yeah, she literally fell
the back of her head just went straight on the top of the heel. Well, what it looked like here, and obviously, my God, that was a massive impact.
And you're talking about a woman's heel on the mat, by the way, just because it's the case we can't bring this up. Yeah. Back of that was a bad hit, but she worked through it.
She did, man. She sold it throughout. Obviously, that's going to bloody hurt, man.
It's very much going to hurt. Yeah. But she's in a good program.
What a trooper, mate. Rhea Ripley's top G for me.
But it looks like they're doing the whole Judgment Day split things. Like we said, it's a Priest and Balor. That program seems to be over.
For now. There needs to be some more tag team action going on.
Big tag team action, man. They're starting a tournament for it.
Yeah, man. I think we need to see more, personally, from my perspective.
They're doing a tag team tournament to determine who the number one contenders are going to be.
So they had War Raiders return this
Balor
week
and Devlin
on Raw against Alpha Academy.
Do you remember who the War Raiders were? They were the Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
But obviously then they changed.
They were the War Raiders in NXT.
Thank God that they've got rid of that awful gimmick, man. That was a Vince thing. I don't care.
Of course, it was a Vince thing. It was Vince.
Took say his name. Absolute fucking badasses from NXT, like unbelievable tag team, great gimmick, just to the ring, business, beat people up, and then put Viking outfits on them and turn into the Viking Radiants. Like what?
Stupid,
mate. No, not interested in that.
Yeah, that's a very old style way of like making the gimmick. You know?
I'm glad to see the gimmick return, man. Absolutely, and going back to the tag team division as a whole, like. It's not, for me personally, I want to see more investment into storytelling on the tag team. I want to see a bit more. There's a lot of depth, of course, across both brands, but for me, it's not really grasping my attention as much as the singles. Obviously, singles is naturally going to be, but back in the day, you had New Age Outlaws who were key. Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Hardys.
Yeah, big time.
They were.
I think the
storylines that we were having with them back in the day, you don't see that much now.
Who was your favourite tag team back in the day?
Oh, Dudley's 100%.
Dudley Boys.
Get the table.
Through the tables.
Every week.
I was a Hardys guy.
You were Hardys?
Yeah.
I think I was Dudleys.
I used to like the Dudleys, but I was a Hardys guy.
I want to see a tag team TLC match again, man.
Just watch it. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like I think part of the reason why I've had this conversation as well, like with other people and Adam before about like just that there's not as much creativity that's happening in the tag division. And when I say that, it's like the type of matches that they're having. Obviously, over the years they've brought in new matches, like Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, blah blah blah. So like, what are the things that are happening for the tag division? Like, I even used to like the fact of it. Now, when you watch a tag match, it's always predictable. It's like you're waiting for this guy's going to get beaten up, and then the hot tag comes in, and then that guy's going to get some momentum, then he's going to like get knocked down, then it's going to be another tag, and then the other guy's going to come in and it's going to win.
I want to see more scope in the matches, man.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see something, even just something as simple as like a tornado tag. Tornado tags were the thing back in the day, like in the 90s.
Great fun.
Completely changes the thing of having the hot tag, because there is no tag. So it's just like,
the thing is with the tag team match, it's also comfortable for the viewer. Yeah, you know what you're going to get most of the time. Like hot tag is what everybody waits to build. It's just a very slow build to the hot tag, and then you watch it all unfold. And then in between that, you just watch some technical wrestling. A performance.
I understand what you mean, because the thing is, predictability is kind of like comfort food. Sometimes you just want it, and you just know what you're going to get, and this is what's going to happen, and blah blah blah. But at the same time, like, if the singles division was like that, then we could get bored of that as well. But like, obviously we keep reinventing that, either with different characters or different match types or different scenarios, and I just don't see that kind of thing.
Bring back the TLC.
Yeah, the table matches.
Oh yeah,
but you look at AEW; they have some unbelievable tag team matches, man. I remember when they first launched the product, their tag team division was actually one of the biggest parts of their presentation.
I remember I think there was like there's a 3 versus 3, and I think it was SCU and Young Bucks and Kenny. I think
sounds
maybe
about right. The Elite.
I believe that was the first match in the SCU one. I'm not too sure. I'll probably get slammed if someone ever comes across.
Where are you going with it? What are you trying to say about it?
I'm just saying, when AEW started, they were, for me, I was fully invested, man. I was watching it week in, week out. Like, just wanted to see how it goes, because it was something new.
Yeah, and a big part of that.
It had some names that I wanted to see. We had Jericho.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, I've followed him quite a bit in the indies. I've always wanted to see him WWE. I've always just wanted to see one big convergence of both of the brands.
Yeah, that's
never going to happen, but that I really want it to. I want to see an event. I want to cream my pants watching telly over men in tights, basically. That's basically what I'm saying.
That is not what this is about, guys.
The fantasy book.
That's not what this is about.
It's got to JD. The fantasy has developed into
that's
a
bit
fantasy.
too much. I apologize.
Just take it easy, J-Dog. Take it easy. My God. But yeah, no, I agree.
He's serious about his love for wrestling, guys.
Well, this is great. The passion is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, look, maybe that will start to reignite the tag team division. Now there's a tournament happening for it. Adam Pearce has put it out there.
Okay.
War Raiders absolutely ran over Alpha Academy to advance. We'll see who else is in the tournament. But I look forward to that. And it's also going to give Jordan Devlin a bit of spotlight, because he's been the tag champ with Balor for a while.
Yeah.
And he's now going to come into it as a big part of the package. He's just been really a back burner for a while. So it's good to see him get something. But interested to see where Priest is going to go. Let's see how they're going to direct that.
El Campeon, apparently. He's probably coming after Gunther, but I want to see something. I want to see a bit more. I want to see where he goes next.
That's it.
Yeah.
He'll have something to distract him.
Priest has got my eyes at the moment.
Yeah. He's good.
I want to see where he goes.
He's good. And then, other talking points from both shows, really. Belair and Jade.
Yeah, man.
Defended their tag titles on both nights, SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
I think they're great tag champions.
I do.
I think there will be a split at some point.
I want there to be one soon.
I think there will be one.
Jade Cargill's solo spotlight will arrive one day. They're just doing a slow burn on that.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really... I've enjoyed the matches and I enjoy them being tag champs, but there's not much else that's really interested me in their programs. They haven't got any good opponents.
No, for me personally, with Jade Cargill, there's so much hype online about her coming from AEW over to WWE. There's so much hype, and it just feels like she's, quickly became an afterthought, man. Like
they just tagged her onto Bianca, which interested me.
Who had her own momentum as well. And they've just sort of like merged it into one thing, which I thought was a bit lazy. But
you said she had momentum, but she.
Bianca.
Bianca.
Yeah.
But she was obviously the women's champion for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
And she was getting a bit stale. Like, her gimmick was the same. They hadn't changed her that much. It was getting a bit samey. We're easily bored. The audience of WWE is easily bored. Unless you evolve, then people are going to get bored of you. So I think maybe they've also stuck Jade with her as a way of bringing Bianca up a little bit to help stimulate her. So I think both of them actually together work right now. And then when they do the split, they'll both evolve in their own ways. I think that's the way they're going with it. But we'll see. Or they get some meaningful opponents for them soon. so that they don't grow stale.
Not
themselves.
always damage control.
No, screw damage control, man. I'm bored of them lot.
Did you see the Bray Wyatt 2K24 DLC promo
For the game?
Yeah.
I did see it,
Yeah, they're gonna have Uncle Howdy. They're gonna have the Fiend. They're gonna have Bray. They're gonna have his old. They're gonna have the Firefly Funhouse music. The new music. Dude, what, mate?
It's a good DLC.
Bray Wyatt. Way too soon, man. Way too soon.
Sad as
so
hell.
much we could have seen from him.
Sad as hell.
And I'm, obviously they're passing tribute to him.
It's been over a year now, isn't it? He died over a year ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very sad. It seems like yesterday.
It goes so quickly, man.
But Triple H was saying, what was he? Probably one of the most creative brains he's ever worked with.
He would have been a brain for the company when he retired. 100%. He would have known how to evolve, like Triple H has done from Vince.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
he's
say
learned
they'd
from him.
pass it to Bray, but he would definitely be a very big creative mind backstage on.
Eventually, like as an employee for the company, I guess. But apparently his brain was so creative that like you had to almost contain it because he got a bit too out of control.
Yeah.
So like Triple H had to kind of filter some of his creative ideas in a way that actually you can't do that because it's going to be a bit too extreme. No one's going to understand it. His brain was so expensive.
Well, that's good, man. That's good.
Mate, a massive loss for them.
It's kind of just
And
even-
very sad, very sad. How old was he? Sorry, 34. He was our age.
Yeah.
Scary.
I think he wasn't. Yeah.
Nah, it's scary, man.
Poor dude.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, people are obviously developing those kind of like stories, and even just from the point of just having like little Easter eggs that are just in certain promos and clips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the White Six been popping about again.
Well, yeah. So you said they're targeting Miz now. Yeah, that's
Seems
the
that
next
way.
program for them.
I don't recall seeing it on the TV. Maybe I completely missed it, but there was a picture of the Miz with his shirt ripped off with "liar" written over it.
So they haven't been on TV, but they've making noises.
I've seen. I don't know if it was on TV or not. I can't recall it being on there.
Right.
Maybe I must have blinked or something.
I think I did see somewhere though online that is the next program for them.
Oh, absolutely.
So again,
he with the Miz and R-Truth match on Raw when Final Testament came out, or before, or just before the ring went. I think there was like a little White Six sort of.
Like a little break up
blip,
program.
sort of little blip. Yeah.
What do you think
So
of
they're
them?
coming again, man.
What do you think of them packages? Have you seen any of them, AJ? The White Six kind of stuff, the little cinematics they do with.
Yeah, so I obviously I'm not in super in depth as how much you guys are, but I was catching that stuff. It was popping up on my YouTube feed before they actually had arrived. So
Oh yeah.
I actually kind of watched one of the promos and I thought, what the hell is this? And after I started reading the comments, went back and saw that. I seen a couple of the other short promos, but I haven't seen that much of it, to be honest.
It's very different.
It seems to be, yeah, especially with everything else going on, because everything else is kind of in that realism, like kind of just regular.
And this is a bit more of like
It's a bit more out there.
Yeah.
But I like the way that even though they brought them into the ring, because I mean their most recent match was against Alpha Academy that they just finished, because they're going to probably run through some people first before they put them in any meaningful program. But I like the way that they, even though they are like these fantasy kind of characters, if you like, that they're trying to build, which is probably the only entity of its
they have
kind.
a supernatural
on the roster.
kind of.
Yeah, it's
persona.
crazy out there for the audience that are like a little bit imaginative and a bit crazy.
It's
Insight to the mind, man.
It's more imaginative. It's more fantasy than an Undertaker, but it's kind of almost in that sort of
in that realm.
pocket. But it's a little bit further away.
Spot on. Great way to put it.
I agree.
But they still in the ring have them as just ass kicking machines.
Yeah.
Like they're still no nonsense in the ring. I didn't want them to come into the ring and start doing all these crazy, like mysterious moves and stuff.
Oh no.
I just wanted them to come in there and run over some people, which they did. They absolutely clobbered America.
Absolutely, and I'm glad they're not being featured every week. But that's on from a positive perspective. If we saw too much of them, they get stale very quickly.
Exactly.
For me, and I don't want to see that.
They're an attraction.
They are an attraction, and long may it live.
Yeah.
In my eyes, to be honest, there's a few stories kicking about that they could sort of bring themselves into. Obviously, they're all about family.
Yeah.
Miz and R-Truth were brothers in R-Truth's eyes. This happens.
There's storylines
they
they can
betrayed his
roll
brother.
into. Yeah.
Maybe they pop up with the Bloodlines. Not soon. I wouldn't say now. I think if there's more scope down the line, there might be something going on there. I'd like to see Solo get a bit
Don't know, man. I don't want to bring them into it.
No. Not into their program as a whole, no. But moving on from the end of the Bloodline, if they're still around, I want to see something with the Bloodline. Maybe if they've gained enough traction, of course.
If they bring them into the main event picture, then it will completely change the entire landscape and presentation of WWE to bring them in.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's because the Bloodline storyline is very real. It feels very real. You know what I mean? Because it's like it teases, it feeds into real life in a way. Whereas the White Six just ain't freaking real. You know that. But like, it's still a great story to be told in another realm. But I'm not criticizing it. I just think it has a place. That's all.
Okay. No.
But it's who knows? Maybe Uncle Howdy will win the Royal Rumble. Imagine that.
Never know.
See what happens.
Maybe beats The Rock. Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
So we're going to be coming up to, what is it? Would it be 3 months before we're leading up to the Rumble?
I love the Royal Rumble, man. It's my favourite time of year.
Mate.
Yeah.
January.
Box Park last year was...
It just kind of, it's like you get over Christmas, you get through New Year, and everyone's a little bit, but then
and it's like, but we got the Rumble.
For the wrestling fans, it's like,
the Rumble's in January, man. You know what I mean?
It's all right, we've got that to look
It's like having the Super Bowl or the World Cup final.
It's a nice little gift. It's a nice little gift after Christmas, isn't
nice
it?
little nugget. Yeah, no, it's great. I love it. Well, yeah, we'll get there. And anything else that occurred, really? I mean, Adam Pearce obviously was discussing between Reed and Rollins about should he put them in a match, should he not? He spoke to them both. I think Bronson Reed's in for big things here. He had a sit down with Pearce.
I like Big Bronson, man.
I like Bronson as well. I like him.
Going into a program with Seth is big anyway, and it's and Braun Strowman beforehand. You know, he's got his credibility as well. But Seth
Strowman's done the job for
workhorse
Bronson.
man, and
yeah,
to go into a program with Seth is big for anyone.
He's a main eventer. So if Reed gets a pin on him as big, which we've discussed, and I think, look, who knows if they're going to pull the trigger on that or not, we don't know. But that's the match that is leading to. We might see them at Crown Jewel, perhaps. And then I suppose finally, really, the Gunther and Cody
was on Raw, man.
build.
Yeah.
Cody's going to be on Raw for the next few weeks now, apparently.
Well, there we go.
Obviously, when they build it up for Crown Jewel. But I'm actually... I'm looking forward to this match, man.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to this as well. But you guys are probably going to have to fill me in as to how they're going to book this, because even
don't worry too much about that.
Gunther was it's just the fact that he was even acknowledging, number one, what you had said, and other stuff that I've seen online, which is he was saying, that's going to be considered the secondary title,
mate.
But he was doing it the other way around. Yeah,
he's brilliant. I love Gunther on the mic, man.
Gunther said that Cody was good for a secondary champion, and
he's so good.
That was on point, right? He's
just but his cockiness, his arrogance is so freaking good.
Backs it though.
He does back it. No, but that's the thing. He knows it's a blur of the lines again. In real life, like, he is a good technical wrestler.
Yes.
In the ring, and everybody knows he is. He knows he is, so he just leans in on that to bring out this absolute arsehole, man. But it works so well. It works so well. I think he's going to be one of the massive things for WWE moving forward. And obviously Cody, also a ring technician. So you've got Gunther and Cody. I think they're going to create magic in the ring. I literally think it's going to be an unbelievable match to watch.
So sell it to me. Sell it to me. Who's how they're gonna kind of have the win, and you're gonna have the title go to.
We spoke about this last
superior
week.
Champion.
I don't know that.
We spoke about this last week. I don't know how it's going to finish.
Especially considering obviously Cody's ties to, he's got another story arc that's happening with the situation with the Bloodline, which is going to happen, which is going to feed into Survivor Series. But
I think he's away from the Bloodline at the moment.
Yeah, I understand he is technically at the moment, but I'm just saying, if he's then viewed as the secondary champion, like you say, he takes. Do you reckon he's actually going to take an L between now?
I don't think it'll be a clean L, as we said last week. Yeah. Now this obviously takes things in my brain. Will The Rock screw over Cody?
Not in Saudi.
Not in Saudi. Not a Crown Jewel. Big place to have a big celebrity.
I don't think he'll fly to Saudi for that.
Will Goldberg make an appeance?
I don't want him involved, but yes.
Spear Gunther, maybe
set up a Survivor Series match.
Maybe Goldberg's in the crowd leading up to Crown Jewel in SmackDown or Raw, and he comes out again, or he's there.
Again, there's loads of options, but then you've also got to think Rhodes is in a triangle at the moment because he's also got the Owens and Brandy situation on SmackDown. Yeah, so obviously Owens has turned heel, and then on SmackDown he came out, attacked Cody. Then he attacked Orton, so Owens is completely heel now.
Yeah, Orton's kind of stuck between the middle, and now he's officially been, he clapped back, so to speak.
So we'll see which direction to go with that. They might do an Orton-Owens match and leave them out of Cody for now, but then maybe reintroduce them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Owens is officially heel again, and that's when we see the best Kevin Owens, man, when he's heel. He's brilliant as a heel.
What I personally think, though, is however that match goes between Gunther and Cody, it's not going to be clean. That's the only way I can see it happening, because the only someone taking a pin clean, either of them is going to hurt their credibility.
It can't 100%. It can't be a clean finish. There's no way.
Does Brock Lesnar turn up and wreck everyone?
Well, I was just going to come on to Lesnar. There's been references to him, isn't there, on Raw?
And SmackDown, there's been some. It's not references. It's more like little drips. I mean, obviously with Cody saying, he's slayed a beast.
He's referencing Lesnar.
Yeah, of course he is, man.
But the fact that they're actually referencing him and actually acknowledging him, no pun intended, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that unless actually maybe things are starting to calm down for him to maybe reappear.
Well, everything always ties into something. There's never really any loose ends in the Triple H era. What I see, we're seeing things always. All the dots are always connecting.
But obviously, Lesnar is still semi-affiliated with what's going on in the real world with Vince.
He's probably sorted out his legal issues at the well, not sorted them out, but he's probably got a firm hold on them at the moment if they're gonna bring him back in, because
he needs to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that could ruin him.
Well, not even that. It'll reflect bad on the company. So.
Well, yeah. As if it hasn't already got bad press already. But so yeah, that's a tease. That's a tease for Lesnar. I hope to see him again. He's entertaining every time he's around, and he's really good for putting talent over, man, and making people bigger.
I agree.
You get a pin on Lesnar. He did the favors for Cody. He did the favors for somebody else.
Maybe this sets up a Gunther. Brock.
Oh, that's the match. That's the match to see. That's the match to see. Yeah, that's the long-term booking for me. Gunther and Lesnar.
Oh, mate.
And I think
the matches.
I think Gunther should get the win on him. I legit think Gunther should pin Lesnar.
It'll happen.
That will take him to a new stratosphere. So I reckon that's the long term. We'll see. But yeah, good, exciting build. But I just to summarise that, I just think that not necessarily about the finish. I like the finish. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a dirty finish. Somebody will get involved. There'll be an angle off the back of it. But I just think that the match that they will put on will be a masterpiece.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're both technically really good wrestlers. They know what they're doing, and they're probably some of the best in ring work from Gunther that you're going to see above anybody in the roster. And Cody is just as good. So I'm looking forward to that. Just to watch it.
I think you're definitely right. Anyway, there's a few different angles that I think that they could probably utilize that at Crown Jewel to like you say, just for the angle to get the win over Cody, but not hurt him too much.
Yeah.
Could be any one of those angles really. Even if you, like you say, The Rock doesn't necessarily have to show up. It could be something just as simple as hit the music, distracts Cody.
Yeah, he's just there.
You obviously mentioned Goldberg, and
I think he's there just to remind people that Rock's still a part of the story.
Yeah,
he's still in the background, but I think, like you said before, the whole Netflix thing, I think that's when he'll probably really reappear. They want to capitalise on that.
So while we just mentioned Netflix, and obviously we're kind of capping things off, I saw that there was some sort of mention as to the first episode of Raw on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's going to be as big as a pay-per-view, apparently. They're going to put up all the stops for that.
Right, yeah.
January the 6th, I believe, is when the first Raw on Netflix is going to be. Obviously, it's John Cena's retirement tour next year, so he'll be coming back.
Yep.
So he'll probably make his first appearance on there. So that's a bit of star power for him.
Draw some
Sorry, right, hang on. Just while we're talking about John Cena, I know I messaged in the group. I'd never heard of this streamer in my life.
Kai Cenat?
Kai Cenat. Yeah.
Oh, he's funny, man.
You posted it on the group in WhatsApp. You were like, John Cena and Kai Cenat. What the? And I was like, is that you got some kind of spell check problem there? Do you want to check what you were saying?
Yeah, man. He was
not tapped in. Man.
I wasn't tapped.
You need to speak to your nephews, man.
I did speak to him. I messaged my nephew as soon as you messaged it, and I was like, who is this Kai Cenat guy? And he was like, oh, he's one of the biggest streamers in the world.
Yeah, exactly. He is the biggest streamer in the world.
I was like, what?
You know who I Show Speed is, right?
Yes, I didn't know.
Okay, so you know Speed.
Yeah. What's he affiliated?
Him and Kai Cenat, they're the biggest streamers pretty much out right now. Obviously, you do have other ones. As I can't remember what the girl's name is as well, but they're the ones who you see out and about and on social media the most.
So are these guys like the new KSI and Logan Paul?
Pretty much.
They're kind of like a new gen of streamers.
Yeah.
They obviously stream games.
They're
and
the
they do,
generation under them.
That's mad to think
It's a mixture. They do like so. There's a thing called IRL streaming. So they just stream themselves doing their like daily. Speed's doing it all. It's like live vlogging. But
I see all that. I just find it mad that there's now a new generation of streamers coming through. Like KSI and Paul are old now. Old news. There's a new.
Well, this
I still feel like streaming's new.
But this Kai Cenat guy has not just had John Cena on. He's had Kevin Hart on his stream as well.
Yeah,
so he's a big guy.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj as well.
Kevin Hart, Nicki Minaj,
Yeah.
Offset,
Ice Spice.
Ice Spice was his first real big one that got crossed over.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's had loads of people on there. Like
Cena-
people who you wouldn't even think you'd be like, what the hell? But
Well, it caught my attention because I saw Cena on there. Yeah, it did pop up, and they were eating burgers.
yeah,
And then someone come and tax the burgers from him
chicken Big Mac. Yeah,
One of them came flying through the door in the back,
to John Cena's music.
and he legit was like, he didn't like that at all, man.
Yeah.
Broke the game. Yeah, that was weird seeing him on there.
it was funny as well because he's in there and he's giving that motivational speech, but you could see like Kai Cenat like looking into the camera like,
Just standing behind him in his 3-piece suit as well.
Yeah.
He looked so out of
and
place.
he's like, if you just work hard.
Oh no, it did not fit. It did not
Yeah,
fit.
it was a bit of a strange
my God,
collaboration,
yeah.
but it got the eyes. I quite like the Big Mac chains.
Yes.
They're all wearing the Big Mac chains.
Always representing.
I think it's because over there they got the chicken Big Mac or something like that. It's something random. But
Well, he'll be.
We've had the chicken Big Mac over here. It's been about.
Yeah, we have had chicken. Have you tried one?
I have not.
I don't even know why they made a
quite
big deal
enjoyed
out
them.
of it.
I quite enjoyed the chicken Big Mac.
Chicken Big Macs.
Yeah,
It's meaty, man.
double chicken Big Mac. It's like a chicken royale. It's really
Meaty.
good.
Chicken.
But yeah, but John Cena will be in for a big year next year anyway. We'll see what they have planned for
I
him.
want to see a title. I want to see a title story going on with him. I
He'll
wanna
have
see
that.
a title on him.
He'll have that
I'm
without
not
doubt.
sure what title. He's a Grand Slam champion, right? He's won all the championships. He's won the Continental.
No, he won the American title. We made that big.
He won the US title.
He must
Has
have
he
won.
He must have won the.
He must have won
He is
the
a Grand
IC
Slam.
title.
He is a Grand
He's
Slam.
a Grand
isn't he?
Slam.
Yeah.
He must have done. I mean, everything that he's done.
Reigns is now a Grand Slam. Miz is obviously a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Cena is.
Who would Cena win the tag titles with?
No clue. He probably would have won them ages ago. He
Let's have a
hasn't.
look.
He hasn't done a tag. He hasn't done a tag bit in a while. Oh, yeah, Jericho.
Jericho's a Grand Slam, yeah. Notably. Pedro Morales, Bret Hart,
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
Stone Cold, The Rock,
There's some greats there.
Triple H, Kane. Okay.
Have you searched
Are
this
you sure this
correctly?
is? No, I don't think I have.
No, you haven't. Yeah, you haven't.
It says fourth Grand Slam, Triple Crown for Jericho, fourth double Grand Slam. Kurt Angle.
Kurt
fifth
Angle.
Grand- yeah.
So he's had them all. Okay.
So these are. Yeah.
These are
Eddie
just all the
Guerrero.
greats. Yeah, Guerrero.
Ric Flair, Edge. No, okay. RVD. Okay. Booker T, Jeff Hardy.
I don't think this is correct.
CM Punk.
Yeah, no, this can't be right.
No,
I don't think this is
that's
correct.
right.
Those ones there, they say
No.
Triple Crown.
Okay.
They're Triple Crown, so this must be like an amalgam.
I just typed in his
Well,
John Cena.
when we're on the subject, I mean, obviously, look, a lot of people say that John Cena is the GOAT. A friend of ours actually put in the group the other day. They were like, "Next time you guys do your podcast, you should talk about who you think the GOAT is in WWE."
Yes, yeah.
That is a question.
as an overall generality.
Let's do this. So
Just to finish,
he
Go on.
mentioned in the group he said about the goat, and then I was just like, okay, so goat. Are we just having goat talk, or are we gonna do goat and favorite? So if you can have a think, we'll give you a couple minutes. I'll let Adam get his shit off.
Let me blow off my steam.
Yeah, have a think. Who would you say is the GOAT? Who's your GOAT? And who would you say is your favorite?
Big questions.
The GOAT of WWE.
They can be the same.
The GOAT of WWE. John Cena's got his hat in contention, but for me personally, Undertaker. Just the way he carried his persona and the way he stuck with WWE through thick and thin, pretty much through the Attitude Era, came into the PG era, so we say, the old John Cena era. He's my all-time GOAT, 100%.
So your favorite or your GOAT?
He's my GOAT
The greatest of all time is Undertaker.
for me. Just
you.
as from a workhorse perspective.
Okay.
Okay, that's a respect.
I think there's different criteria.
Oh, I'll take the answer.
I think there's different criteria, but
Doesn't mean he's
overall for
right.
me,
Because he's completely wrong.
okay. Well, you
No,
have
just
yours.
in terms of who the greatest of all time is, I respect that he's a great worker. Probably one of the best workers of all time.
Yep.
Probably one of the most loyal, I suppose, employees of the company of all time. And what he's done, his longevity is you probably never ever see that again. A 25-year career as the Undertaker, you'll never see that again.
It'll be very, very rare.
Yeah. But I don't think he's the greatest of all time.
Okay.
But I definitely think he's up there.
Oh, he's up there. Like I said, there's so many
100%
names you can put in the
100%
hat.
he's up there.
I'm not the juror, by the way. That's just my opinion.
So go on, Adam.
But you are wrong.
But my favorite,
No, you first.
Oh, me?
my favorite superstar. No.
Wait,
go on.
do you want to do favorites?
If we're talking, are we talking all-time favorite or current favorite?
Just favourite all
All-time
time.
favourite.
But it could be
All-time
current
favourite.
as well. They
Come
could
back
be.
to me on that.
Okay.
I'll have a think.
The Undertaker.
I have chosen the Undertaker.
The
The Undertaker.
Okay, so yeah, I should just read off mine.
Do what you want, man.
Okay, I said my goat would be Michaels,
HBK.
and I think it's just because his history, kind of like an early, he was like on one of the the earliest or the first episode of Raw.
Tag team guy, wasn't he?
Yeah,
With Marty Jannetty.
Jannetty,
the
yeah, that's
Rockers.
it. And we gave him the sweet chin through the window.
No, he threw his head through a window.
I thought you gave him the sweet chin and he went.
He gave him the sweet
Gave
chin
him
and then
sweet
put him
chin,
through the window.
Grabbed his head and stuck through the window.
Oh, yes, yeah,
But
yeah.
that was incredible. That was
Yeah.
incredible TV for the time. Yeah.
So I would say Michaels just because he's his in ring work, like he's had some crazy matches,
Yes.
some really, really big matches. He always knows how to prop up the guy. He also has a signature style that a lot of people now kind of base their style off of Michaels.
I agree.
AJ
So when you're
Styles.
seeing all these people who do it, throwing the super kick and stuff like that, and the even just like the high fly and stuff, not doesn't have to be super technical, like
Well,
flips
his
and stuff,
his
but-
sort of frame and stature in the WWE at that time, and that was in a time where it was mainly big beefy guys.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so they brought in more of like a leaner cruiserweighty kind of vibe
That was
to
after the Hulk Hogan era
Yes,
yeah.
when it got onto like
So
Bret
he-
and HBK.
He helped kind of transition it into that era, and then obviously his his tenure with WWE. So how long he's been there, and now he's transitioned to
He did lose a smile though at one point.
yes, yeah, I know.
Poor bloke.
And I'm just thinking of that scene where his hair got ripped out. But and then obviously his work on NXT, building and helping develop talent. I think the resume for Shawn Michaels to be considered the GOAT is because I already know who his answer is going to be, and I don't think it has that same like
Doesn't have longevity.
doesn't have that list.
You two have chosen two people that have got some serious longevity with the company, without a doubt. Shawn Michaels, the best in-ring worker there's ever been, without a shadow of a doubt. He is the best in-ring worker there's ever been.
That's
Probably.
I'm agreed.
And AJ Styles, if I could fantasy book Styles against HBK, would be a match I would love to see, but we will never see it. But if the times were right, we could have seen it. It's so frustrating.
We're in an age of AI now, Adam.
We can I was gonna
get
say-
AI to generate that entire match.
Simulated match on WWE 2K.
see what happens.
could do that.
Make it a ladder match, because it's Michaels. So
Mate, we should put that on after we finish here, man.
Just watch
I'm
it
not, I'm not
happen.
joking. Let's just put it on.
HBK would win. He would win.
go on.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest of all time. Now, I know longevity in ring for him wasn't there. I think he had about 7 years on top, probably 5 to 7 years, which is actually short. When you think like Cena had
that's
20,
6, yeah.
Cena had 20, 25 years. Reigns has now been on top for coming on 12, 13, 14 years, somewhere in that region. Really, the Cody run now that he's on, he's already halfway through the career that Stone Cold had on top. But he took WWE out of absolute slums because they were on their way out. When WCW was beating them and NWO were about, Stone Cold Steve Austin single-handedly turned that dial the other way.
He carried the company on his back.
Massively. He sold more merch than they've ever sold. He sold more merch than Hulk Hogan. He sold more merch than HBK, Bret Hart, Taker, all of them, all of the big boys. He broke stupid records and he made it mainstream. You started seeing Stone Cold on what was that show? Celebrity Deathmatch. You saw
the MTV Clay
That's it. Yeah, well, I know that's not a big show, but you started seeing him.
It was on telly a lot. Yeah,
it was on telly, but you started to see him in all the mainstream avenues. You know what I mean? And the company was on his back. And I think it's such a shame that obviously he got injured early and had to pack it up early.
Neck,
But no one has been bigger than Stone Cold, probably until now. Probably Reigns is he could probably begin entering conversation.
We're talking about in terms of just in the wrestling world as well, right? Because I suppose, I guess people outside, we were kids back then, so I wouldn't really know if you were to ask an adult back then, it would be like, oh, who doesn't watch wrestling? It'd be like, do you know who Stone Cold is?
Yeah.
But as far as in this generation now, if you're going to ask those questions, you'd say,
you'd ask, do you know who John Cena is?
I'm going to be honest.
A lot of people do know who John Cena is, but
yeah,
I'm going to be honest.
If you're going to say that,
if you could go back to like 1998, 1999,
yeah.
If you asked any boy's parents if they know who Stone Cold Steve Austin is, they know who he is.
Yeah,
I had a poster of him on my wall.
So did I.
Yeah,
Like the T-shirt as well.
My dad was
16. You probably got that out of the magazine as well.
Drinking beer, flipping people off. It's
my
great.
dad was a big fan of Austin.
It's the rebellious time.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, the thing is, it's because of the whole situation with, he who shall not be named. I'm going to say his name anyway, Vince. But, outside of
We can talk about this.
that the combination of the Stone Cold and Vince is kind of what made that whole thing.
The feud was brilliant. It was the right time as well. It was the right time in the world. But HBK being on top, Bret Hart being on top, they cruised, but they weren't climbing when they were the people that were running the company at the time, or head of the company, or the main event poster boys. Obviously, Hulk was a different. He was your yellow tights, your typical babyface American savior babyface. Stone Cold was a completely different thing.
I think it's just a different era as well. The company had changed so much at that time. So.
But that's not taking away anything from it. That's just my opinion, and that's not taking anything away from HBK Taker, because I love Taker. He's actually my favorite of all time. I wouldn't say he's the GOAT, but he's my favorite of all time because he's been there since he was the first guy I saw in the ring that got me into wrestling when I was like 3. So he's only just retired like a few years ago. So it shows you how long he's been in my life for. But then, The Rock, he's never even discussed in the greatest of all time.
I feel like
he's another one. He didn't have a big stretch, a big run.
No.
He was definitely my favorite in that era, 100%. His promos are on point. The way he just smack talked everyone was like,
yeah, it's great.
So
was my type of TV.
He's my personal favorite.
The Rock.
So when I said GOAT versus favorite, HBK my GOAT, and The Rock is my favorite.
The reason why I wouldn't put and that's fair game, but the reason why I don't think he'd be in the greatest of all time talk, maybe in terms of, like I said, there's different categories of GOAT, right? So Taker, he's my I would say all round GOAT favorite, my all time GOAT. But with The Rock, it was his charisma and mic skills. GOAT.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, he could have an audience in the palm of his hand.
Oh, they were eating out of his hand.
Yeah,
they were eating his pie.
Yes, and he still does.
And his strudel.
And they still do.
Every second he was on, and they still do.
They still do. When he came back as the final boss and he just flipped it into heel mode, mate, he is the best heel. He's so good.
I feel like when he went to Hollywood, he over time then sort of left that GOAT discussion in terms of overall.
He got stale.
Well, he left for a long time. He came back for a bit.
Even when he came back as a heel, he needed a bit of time because he didn't really hit the ground running.
Yeah, he wasn't resonating. Yeah.
They needed to give time to make Hollywood Rock, translate as a heel.
They gave it a few weeks, and then they had the press conference, didn't they? And that's when he pretty much turned.
That was it. But he'll make the best out of a bad situation. But to be fair, look, it's such a difficult question. Who is the greatest of all time in WWE? Because there's so many different contenders, so many variables, so many reasons why you would be the GOAT. Not just necessarily wins and losses like a UFC, like a John Jones. It's less about performance; it's more about what you do for the business, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So you could say Ric Flair. You could chuck Flair in there. You could chuck Hogan in there. Taker, Triple H.
Triple H in there. Yeah, you could.
There's tons you could throw in there.
There's certain things that like you
Andre
said,
the Giant.
They're not tangible.
Yeah.
Like, say, for example, when you're looking at somebody who cuts a promo, if we were to name, like, even when we took all of those guys that we named and we put, like, their best promos up against each other, it's going to resonate with some people more than others, certain promos. So, it's, like you say, it's the GOAT talk is always subjective because certain promos and certain eras, certain characters or personas as people change, you know, maybe you liked Hollywood Rock more, maybe you like Final Boss version of The Rock more than the original version, or the Nation of Domination, or Rocky Maivia with the curls, you know.
He was the worst.
Did you see that video I shared?
Smiling all the time.
In our group. It was I think it was a 13-year-old Rock watching his dad wrestle.
He was 11 years old.
11 years old.
11 years old.
He looked
and
19.
He looks like he's about 17.
Wasn't that in his series? They did
Yes.
living with the Rock or something. What was it called?
They've showed that clip a couple times. So it's when him and his dad and Atlas were having the tag match, and he's sitting on the sidelines.
Ah, yes. Oh, well, actually, at a show.
I've got it right here.
Yeah. Rocky Johnson. Yeah. This is quite a common clip. This one.
I haven't. This is the first time I saw this the other day. It was when I shared it into the group.
Yeah,
Look at him.
That's him. Yeah.
Hi, I'm 11, but really 25.
Even that picture of him, he's 15 years old. You know the famous picture of him sitting in the chair where he's like this and he's got his top off?
Yeah.
He's 15 years old. He looks like he's about 22.
He started working out proper young. If you listen to his documentary that he does on him on the network, he tells you, I think he was about 9-10 when he lifted his first dumbbell.
And he only took gear once when he was about 18.
Okay, listen, no comment. No comment. Maybe he just trains really freaking hard and he's a lot of
He
chickens.
was still my favorite wrestler, but he took gear once when he was 18.
Is that it? And that's what he still looks like.
One time.
Wow.
He's got some residual benefits, obviously.
What a human!
in.
What a specimen of a human.
A specimen.
Well, yeah.
We'll see how long that
even
lasts.
just looking at his dad was flipping jacked.
a big dude.
So he's still got some crazy genetics, regardless of the juice. But
So yeah, that's it at the moment, man. For WWE, not much more to talk about. There has been a lot.
Yeah,
but,
man. We've talked a fair bit
onwards and
today about
upwards.
everything.
The Crown Jewel pay-per-views in a few weeks. We've got 308 in... When is 308?
weeks.
2 weeks, so that'll come first. Looking forward to that. And then we've got a couple of fight nights.
a week and a half, yeah.
Week and a half.
Yep.
I'm enjoying this, though, boys. This is good. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
We're having good talk.
Once a week.
Oh, so just whilst we're on the conversation,
Yeah.
308 is in is it Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
It's in Abu Dhabi, right? So you know what that means.
Riyadh season.
Early start time.
Perfect. And so will Crown Jewel.
Yes.
They're both in Saudi.
So what are we doing? Are we going to do a watch?
Should we do a watch? We'll talk about this. I think a watch party would be
do a
nice.
watch,
If I
although we
could
have
get the
to-
time,
we
have to get the
We have to get through our technical
have to get that ticked off.
our technical difficulties because a live involves audio.
Nah, we don't have to do the whole thing with the mics. We can maybe even just do some clips on the video or something like that.
Yeah, and JD will have to sit still for 3 hours. It's tough.
When that dartboard's there, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah. We'll just hear a lot
We'll
of
have to
dart.
close that off.
But I'll be watching it though, yeah, and it's beautiful that it's on at a good time. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they'll be on a decent time. So
Yeah.
maybe
Unfortunate for some other people in the world, but I'm sure they can deal with it just this once, if I'm honest.
Yeah, mate, they're going to have to. They've got a choice. It's our turn. It's our turn now. All right, boys. Well, that's another week.
Signing off.
Another week wrapped up. Cage and Canvas. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify.
hit the follow notifications.
I'm going to get us onto Apple as well very shortly. The enemy. Yeah, I'm signing out.
Cool.
Cool. Let's do this.